So we want to make this effect using Blender Simulation Nodes. Simulation Nodes isn't included in Blender 3.5. See the link in the description to see how you can get it. Now go to Geometry Nodes tab. Here, as you can see, this is just for instancing points. The real magic happens here inside the simulation. So we take the location of the points and the location of the sphere. We separate them to get a vector from the points to the sphere. We normalize the vector. We add some noise. We scale the vector, make it negative so the points move to the sphere. And we take the distance from the point to the sphere. And if that distance is less than a certain number, then we push the point away, simply by adding a strong noise that will push the point away from the sphere. That's what this noise do. And then we mix the push noise, the strong noise, with the normal noise by an add vector map. So as you can see, we're gonna go over how to make this noise node group later. This is a scale value, so for each point we scale the noise with a random value. This is to instance cube instead of points, so we can texture them. Now make a new blend file. Don't save the last one. So first we delete the camera and the light, you don't need them. So first add a timeline. Let me just expand this. Make it 1,000 frames and go to the first frame. So add a new node group, pin that, and the first thing surprisingly is to add a curve line and add a instance on points. So this uses the points on curve to instance objects. What you want to instance is a mesh grid, and you want to resample this curve. Next, you want to be able to control the number of points. Let me just view this. As you can see, it's just multiple layers of grids. So let me just turn on wireframe, and you want to add a value. Make it a 10, connect it in here. And here you want to add a combine XYZ. Connect that in here. That's wrong. Need to connect it to the resample curve. So the resample curve will give you 10 layers of 10 by 10 grids. So now you can control the resolution or the points number. You want to duplicate this value and connect it to the Z, so it control how long the curve is and how big are the grids. So now you can control the scale and the resolution, or you may call it the number of points. So now you want to turn these grids to points. So first you realize your instance, and then you use mesh to points and set it to vertices, so it's turned the vertices to points. Let me just move that over and delete that. And now we get to the simulation part. So let me just move that over, connect that in here, connect this in here, and go back to frame 1. Make sure you're always on frame 1. Let me just scale those points. They need more scale. make sure it's on vertices. So the first thing you need to do is to set position node, and if you add a value here you will initiate the simulation. So let's add a vector node, set it to 0.1. So as you can see, for each frame the points move 0.1 on the z-axis. So we don't want them to move on the z-axis, we want them to follow the sphere, which we don't have. I don't even have a sphere yet. So first you need to capture the attributes. So this is takes the points, takes the location of the points, and now you need a sphere. Make sure it's set to vector and the position is connected to the value. You add the UV sphere, you take the UV sphere, you drag it into your geometry nodes. You take the location of the UV sphere and you basically subtract that location from the location of the points to get a vector that points from the points to the UV sphere. Oh my god. And then you normalize that vector. It basically makes the vector of a scale of 1. What you want to do next is to scale that vector, make it negative so the points move towards the sphere, not away from it, just like this. So after you make the vector negative, they will all move to the center of the sphere. So make this 0.1 so they move slowly each frame so you can see what's happening. Next, you really want to add noise to it, so you don't want them to move uniformly like so. So to do add noise, let me just move this. Take this, search for mix vector. You basically want to add the noise texture. Connect the color. You need the color, not the factor. You need to scale the noise, and also you need to subtract 0.5 to reset the noise position. Minus 0.5. Align those. So now you need to make find a value that works for you. Let me just see. You need to reduce the scale for sure. Make this positive. Now it's too powerful. You need to reduce the mix to 0.2. You basically want to keep trying, find what fits for you. Make this 0.2. Play it again. Don't forget, it doesn't update until you reset to the first frame. So once you find the value that works for you, a noise that works for you, let me just make that scale 1. You see, this noise is good. And now we move to the next part, which is making the points move away from the sphere once they hit it. But they move so fast away, they actually snap away, so you can't see it. So it seems like the points just keep falling endlessly inside the sphere. So you want to group this noise, connect the group to all the values you want to control, which are the factor, the scale, and all the noise parameter. So let's call this vector noise. And you want to put it in a neat place, just like I am. So now to make the points move away from the sphere, we're gonna take the distance from the points to the sphere. go to vector math, set it to a distance, and you want to take that distance and connect it to a compare value set to less than. So when the distance is less than this value, the points will move away. And now we want to add a math node. So when the value is less than 1, it's gonna be a positive, it's gonna give 1, and this one is gonna multiply it by a random value. So when it's inside the ball, it will get a random value, and this now random value is gonna be multiplied by its position and multiplied also by a noise texture, our trusty vector noise group. So it's basically saying each point that gets inside the sphere is going to be pushed out by its own position multiplied by noise, and also multiplied by a random number. So it's double random, I guess. And you need to connect this push away noise to the original noise or the original location by a math node set to add. So it's only adding this noise to its position once the point is inside the sphere. Now as you can see, the effect is almost done. So this point control the radius in which the point are considered inside or pushed away. So this random value controls how strong the push away noise for each point. So if we give them small random numbers, so they will get pushed away only a little. So you give them 10 or 20 by 40, so each point 20 by 50, whatever, each point is going to be pushed away by a noise that is the scale of 20 to 50. So they're going to be pushed really far away, and they're going to be pushed instantly. So it's either they are near the sphere or they are inside, and they instantly get pushed to a random location. This is what gives it this pattern. You see, you don't have to re-instance the point, they just get moved in a random location. So let me just, this line is annoying me, let me just, shit, let me just, okay, it's still annoying, let me just move this over, it's still annoying, also it's still annoying. Okay, so we're almost done. So now you want to instance cube or spheres or monkeys or whatever you want instead of these points. So I'm gonna use cubes. You do you. Now you need instance on points. So you want to instance a cube. Use any cube you want. I don't think there's many kinds of cube, it's just one cube. So as you can see, all the points are cube now. And the effect is done. One more thing, you need to take the scale, make the scale controls the radius. So when the ball is big, if they hit it, they will disappear in a random location. When the ball is small, they will get to it. Look, it looks better this way. So when you scale the ball or the sphere, it will eat the points. Let me just align this. This line is annoying me. Let me just scale along the x-axis, scale along the y-axis. Shit. Let me just undo this. So one more thing, you need to set material for this, but before you set the material you need the distance from the points to the sphere. To get that, you will use a geometry proximity set to points, and you want to store this attribute and name it. So basically you take the geometry of the sphere and calculate how far are the points from the sphere, and you name your attribute. Make sure you remember the name. Let me just align these. They're still not perfect, so let's just preview this, and it works. You see when the points get closer to the sphere, they get a negative value or a zero value because their distance to the sphere is now close to zero. As you can see, I write the distance but it doesn't work. Well, that's because I did not realize my instance. So you can't texture them if they're not real. Remember that. Let me just align these, and we will go back to the shading anytime now. So first we want to add a math node and set it to power. Where is it? Here it is. You want to set it to a negative value, so it basically inverts what we are getting from the distance, and you want to multiply that so you can control the intensity, and you want another multiply set to add so the dark spots are not so dark. So you basically add to the dark spot. And if you're liking this, the effect is done. If you like white color, if you like me, you like the color orange. If it's for any reason doesn't work, like you're seeing right here, you go back to your layout and still doesn't work, you reset the animation and it works now. See, keep it running. If you pause it multiple times it doesn't work. So now you want to connect this value to the emission strength and give it a color, and you want to preview the material. You see, now you got the effect. Of course you can use a color ramp and color it multiple colors controlled by the distance of the points. As you can see here, well, now it's purple and blue. If you don't like that, just stick with orange. So now your effect is done. Well, enjoy. Bye bye.